joining us at the busy first afternoon of our tech conference. We are joined by Facebook's Retail and E-commerce Director, Martin Harbech. Hi Martin, thanks so much for taking the time. You are just off stage. I literally grabbed you straight as you were off. For the people who weren't lucky enough to hear your very interesting keynote just now, can you give me a little overview of what some of the things you discovered? You talked about work, discovery being the main theme.
Yeah, so the main theme I spoke about is this concept of discovery and how it's something that's always been at the core of shopping, something that we all know is integral to shopping. But it's being supercharged at the moment. And we're seeing this explosion of innovative retailers who are disrupting each of these different areas of retail, which is fascinating. So I spoke a bit about, from Harbech slippers disrupting the slippers industry to food.
Disrupting your slipper world,
very much for me personally. I love the product. Through to food and to fashion and to shaving and to glasses, all sorts of. So basically, almost all areas of retail are being disrupted by these small companies. But what they've realized is that they can use the new technology to get their message out, to have their products discovered in a completely new way.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting. You were talking about a lot of these upstart retailers who have made a real splash really quickly. So you were talking about the mattress industry being one that's been really upended, and things like Silk Thread are someone that I've personally had. For a more established, perhaps more traditional retailer, for want of a better term, is there a particular type of retailer that you think could really take advantage of discovery and how mobile is changing it? Or
So, I mean, the key message that I'm trying to get across is that anyone can do it. Any type of retail out there. So what I tried to do through the keynote was provoke a little bit of there's effectively three things you need to bring back to your business if you want to try and compete with some of these disruptors. Right? You want to make sure that you figure out how can you use data and knowledge of customers to become even more personal. And you want to make sure you look at how do you change some of your internal processes to become even more visual. Right? And then you also want to make sure you figure out how can you land your messages far faster than ever before, because people consume content incredibly fast on a mobile phone.
That stat about how people under 20 are consuming content, was it twice as fast as people over 50?
That's a Facebook specific stat, but it does show that certainly for the next generation of shoppers, these things become even more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were talking about visual there,
short answer to your question, I think anyone can do it. One of the examples I used was Heinz ketchup. I mean, how they in 8 seconds on a mobile phone were able to get across a very clear message of 100% natural ingredients, right? It's so I feel like any business can do this.
Yeah, and you mentioned a little bit talking about visual in your presentation a little bit. You were talking about the role that further down the line VR and AR are going to play in that journey, visual and augmented reality, I should say. To your mind, looking obviously further down the track than we are at the moment, what kind of role do you see those technologies playing in how people are going to discover products on their mobile or elsewhere?
So we're very excited about the potential. We have absolutely no doubt that that's going to be the next big phase. But if you think about our platform, it's very much we've gone from it being text, people would write updates on their feed, then it became photos. Now we're very much in video mode. And then augmented reality, virtual reality will be the next phase. We invest a lot in that through Oculus. But the reality is device adoption is low for full virtual reality and will remain so for a long time. But there's a lot of stepping stones towards it. We do a lot with 360 video, for example, which is kind of a stepping stone. It's just one more version of more immersive visual content than video. So what we try to do with the partners that we work with the big retailers, is say, where can we have the biggest impact right now? And let's focus the majority of our efforts there, right, on video, on 360, on kind of these. But then let's also start testing with the next phase of it. But I think everyone wants to talk about, okay, what does virtual reality look like and how is it going to transform? I think it's incredibly important to also realize what's happening right now. And all of these disruptors, what they're doing is that they're using visual, including video, right, to get out to customers in ways that more traditional, if you want to use that word, more traditional retailers or brands have not been able to crack. And so I would focus 80-90% of the energy on that, and then say, okay, but we also need to make sure we continue to innovate for whatever the next phase might look like.
And so in terms of the role that you see Facebook and Instagram playing in that going forward, you talked a little bit about finding a quick journey from discovery to immersion through to purchase. in the future, can you see Facebook and Instagram being the kind of place where somebody could have that full journey across a variety of retailers and brands?
I mean, the example I shared is the Mulberry example, which is, it's an early stage test that we're saying, but effectively trying to combine a bunch of visual solutions that we have, so that you could go from discovery into highly immersive, like, you know, editorial, beautiful video, image content, immerse yourself in the collection, through to shopping, and you can do that all in a couple of seconds, and that's absolutely the direction that we believe this will go in, and we're very excited about it. So we're working with lots and lots of different retailers here in the UK to figure out what does that next phase look like.
Oh, really exciting! I can't wait to hear more. That sounds brilliant. Thanks so much.
We'll be back.